Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This is the heart and soul of Ella Wheeler. Now, Ella Wheeler was an American author and poet. Her work includes a collection of poems and passions and the poem of Solitude, which contained the lines, "Laugh and the world laughs with you. Weep and you'll weep alone." Her autobiography is the world's and I was published in 1918, a year before her death. So I've copied and pasted that. So I did a bit of cheating rather put in my own words. But as you are fully aware, with last week's video, we done a video about the Titanic. And there was a connection between the guy that done the Titanic, and I forgot his name. I'm so great at this, aren't I? I had to pause to get my notes up, which was Morgan Robinson. Now, Ella, she wrote to Morgan Robinson, and that's what got me, because I've never heard of this lady before, never heard of her whatsoever, completely new to it, and I did have a dream, which was a bit of like going back in time as well, around this time mark. So to me, that's an indication that I'm on the right track and I'm putting out the right content. Yeah. So anyway, the letter went, seeing that she, her and her husband had a belief in spiritualism, and they practiced it. And they made a dying wish together that whoever died first will come back and give messages and stuff. I've put all links in. There's a lady who goes into the history of Lily. I'm not Lily, that's my granddaughter. Ella. Right? But I was really curious, and I was like, what kind of reading can I do? Because I feel like I'm being pulled in that direction. And I got to be, like I said in the Morgan, and I keep saying I was going to say Morgan Freeman, but it's not. But as I said, I was very curious. I am not a poet. I don't really follow it. And the next person I want to do, the person that I was going to do was Jim Morrison, but obviously it's got a link in together, isn't it? It's one of those things that would link in. I will put timestamps in the description box, so you can just bypass that and go straight to the reading if you wish to. But I got really curious with this Ella Wheeler, and I was debating what can I do for Ella. So I thought it'd be nice to do the heart and soul of Ella, because she seems like a gentle soul. Her poetry is really amazing. I've only sort of like met her, I met a brief encounter. No doubt there's other people like that, are poets out there that got other favoritisms. So I'm going to read one poem, which is "Laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone, for sad old earth must borrow in mirth, but has trouble enough on its own." That was one of the poems. I'll read the second poem afterwards as a finishing touch, because I think it's a lovely one to do. So I thought that I would do the heart and soul of this lady. I thought it would be a good Ella Wheeler, and curiouser and curiouser. The last week or so, I've been writing my own poetry. When I've been doing a load of journaling and stuff. So, this is why I feel like I'm pulled into a direction. Maybe you get pulled in that direction. Who knows? Now, I'm not saying I'm like, because this is like first time, whatever. But I think it would be lovely and sweet. I think it's going to be, yeah, something a little bit different. And why not? Let's just go for it, shall we? Shall we do? So so, right. We're going to start with the heart and soul, and I'll be back because I'm going to start coughing again. So I'm using the spiritual deck, the Joy Seeker Tarot. I find this connects really well. God, what's going on? I hope it's not. It's fine. It's fine. It's just snippets. It's just snippets. Right. So we're going to look in the heart and soul of Ella, which is a really pretty name. Really like that name, Ella. It's quite very pretty. I mean, one of my grandkids are called Lily, and I love the name Lily too. Right, so with further ado, Ella. So the heart and soul of Ella. So we're going to look into the heart of Ella. There, I suppose we'll just do who was Ella. Might do a little bit of different to what I usually do the heart and soul with. Just go with it, innit? The heart and soul of Ella. King of Wands. Straight away, what I was getting here. Now, I've cleansed the deck. I did do the cleanse of the deck and knocked it and done the things. But I see Ella as very formal. Very a person of action, okay? But I also see a nice gentle soul as well. So I got a nice gentle approach. So although she was very strong, I feel she was a very strong character. Strong in like not in, because you think of the 1900s. Women are they weren't really associated, would they? They weren't really, it was kind of pushed back a little bit. We were kind of pushed back then, from what I can take of the history of it. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But she's got the King of Wands, so I feel she was very a person once she was strong. I just see it as a strong, very strong character, very passionate, very connected to her male energy. I do wonder if Ella got on better with men than she did women, because I feel like she was kind of connected in that I don't know if women made sense to her. I don't know. I just feel she's quite, I mean, I don't know the history, but we could just go with it. Knight of Pentacles, very gentle soul, very, so although she was willing, she wasn't like fast, quick. She was more than happy. Once she's got a project in place, she was quite happy to take her time with things, yeah. King of Cups. See male energy around her as well. So I feel she was really connected with gentlemen around her, more so than women. So I feel like men had a great influence, great influences around her there, and she, we'll look into outside influences afterwards. Okay, so their personal experiences. Queen of Wands. Look at that, King and Queen. That's crazy. Ella's personal experiences. Eight of Swords. I feel Ella felt quite trapped in her body sometimes, and there was an increasingly more she felt she could bring to the table there. Maybe that's why she felt connected to gentlemen more than females. So I mean, I don't know her friendship group. We're going to look into her friendship group, but I'm just drawn to the fact of like the magician card here is to sort of say that she wanted to break through the chains a little bit, yeah. Um, I feel like she felt like in her experience, life experience, that being a female held her back, held things back. There wasn't, unable to have the same opportunities as maybe her male counterparts. Um, but she had the strong ethics as a gentleman would when it was bringing work to the table. She had that strong ethical thing. I hope this is making sense. I think it's making sense, but yeah. So how did they see themselves? How did they see themselves? They see themselves entwined in love. 9 of Wands. They seen themselves very connected in relationships once they made the commitment in relationships. And I feel Ella was like, once I'm committed to something, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go and do it. Okay. So she gave love freely, I see, like, like her expressions, and that comes out in her poetry. We've got the 9 of Wands though. So I feel Ella, she was able to stand her ground. So, I mean, I'm going to look into her relationship with her husband and that, but I feel like Ella felt like she could, although she had this trapment with society, I feel, she was committed to the cause, and she would use her voice, and maybe that's why she done it like through the love of the poetry and that expression, yeah. Because she had such a elegance about her too. So when I say Melrose, I don't mean she was carrying the like butch energy. She was just, she had the sort of kind of like similarity attitudes, more so than probably women in that time, so that's the feel I've got feel with on that. What motivated them? Oh, 6 of Wands. They were interested in, so I'm going to pull that up a bit so you can see. They were interested in again, it was that being recognized. The 6 of Wands is someone who's being successful, being recognized, everything they do, they're being looked up to. So she enjoyed, not in an ego way, but kind of like that acknowledgement, yeah. Also, what motivates them is coming out of the ashes. When I look at that bird, it's like coming out of the ashes. So coming through stuff and like a rebirth. So she sort of like, and helping with the foundations, the strong foundations here. We've got the 4 of Wands. Now, 4 of Wands is about foundational work. It's like she'd like to enjoy life. She liked the simple life, and she liked the structure. So I feel routine was very important to her. So it's almost like she enjoyed the structure. She enjoyed to have the acknowledgement. Pretty much of a go-getter, business type woman. that's the impression, and that's sort of like what motivates. She was quite willing to change things up when necessary as well with the Judgment card. So it was almost like I'm happy to make the changes. But she had passion for like the stability as well with the people she had around her. So I feel like Ella was very choosy on who she had around her that was influenced. I do feel she was quite influenced by males. Personally, because we had quite especially her dad seems to have a big influence on her. But we'll have a look at that now. So what lifted them? What lifted them? Seven of Wands. All right. Queen of Pentacles. I do think she enjoyed the challenge. She did enjoy the challenge. It was almost like, it wasn't like a proof point to anybody else, but a proving point to her, how resilient she was and how prepared she was with the Queen of Pentacles. So there was times when Ella did struggle in life, but she was still quite confident about how to make the changes. So I feel like, this lifted them up. This lifted her confidence up. The trials and, the trials that they went through. With the Page as well, is like, she was fascinated. She had an interest in learning. She liked to experience life and new experiences. She was willing to to explore. So very curious in nature is what I'm getting here, which is nice. Okay, I'm going to go to the next section. So, which would be outside influences. So I put the cards back in. So outside influence here, very similar. We're going to just do the same as what we would with like we did with Amy. So we're going to look into the fame. Now, she was quite popular back then. I'll just give it a knock. She was quite popular with her books. She was way before her time. I feel, and there must have been other ladies that were quite inspiring back then as well. But her writing of her books, the outside influences around her fame. Page of Wands. Right. Page of Wands, I would say. I think she looked at every situation and every sort of thing that she wrote. She looked at it as it was new. It was something new to her. So it inspired her, Wheel of Fortune, it did make a massive difference in the way they lived and stuff. So it did really make a massive difference. But also we've got the Seven of Swords. There weren't many. I don't feel Ella had, although she was very trusting and very, I said she was clued up. She was like a businesswoman, which I said in the previous section. But the Seven of Swords tells me that there was an outside influence that was maybe holding back financially. So I don't feel that Ella was getting the full money, you know, the money, the response there that she deserved. So I feel like there was people that took advantage. I'm just going to confirm. We got 2 cards that's fallen out. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, look, see? Someone was reserving financial stuff. Although she was doing well, and she thought she was doing well, I feel like it's the same old bloody story, isn't it? You know, when you, with the fame, and they hold, there was withheld of money of some sorts that she was entitled to. They were taking the, so maybe Ella at some points, because she didn't understand, they took advantage of it. Let's have a look at the Kipper on that. Give me more insight around the 7 of Swords. So what was this situation? Family room. Like I said, I feel like she was in a comfortable, she was comfortable, but I think she could have had more. Wealthy man, someone of wealth, a thief. Oh. There was like, I'm getting manager in my head. I didn't expect this, but we don't expect it, do we? But there was an element when it comes to the fame side of things. There was some deception going on, whether that's through her management or, I mean, there's no proof. This is allegedly entertainment purposes only. But how did Ella feel about this? I mean, was she aware of this? Let's do a bit of something different, because we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. Right, can you see it? Right, yeah. Right, so show me a yes, show me a no. Let's go round and round in circles. Show me a no, thank you. So was Ella aware of this gentleman? Yes, I'm getting, right, I'm getting that it wasn't shown in the beginning, but as time went on, she got accustomed, you know, she become more aware. Was Ella aware of this later on down the line? Was Ella aware of it in the beginning? It's like, maybe. She had her suspicions. Okay. We'll put that in the back burner in a minute. So how did Ella feel about this? That's just so bloody, I didn't expect this, but I've got to give it where we see it. I think there was a change of hands. I feel like, if you guys know about Ella and her history, because I've only touched the surface of it, please let me know in the comments below if you can resonate with this. But I feel like she changed hands. I feel later down the line, she changed the circumstances. Because how does she feel? To me, she just started again. So there was some kind of contract, something around the fame business that moved her in a different direction, yeah? Which means that things improved a bit later on. So there was some, I feel Ella had some lessons around the fame and who she can trust. I mean, I know that her partner, she met a bit later on down the line. But yeah, what do you think on that one? So I did not expect that. Okay, so let's look at media. I mean, media would be different back in them days, so it would be in the papers and stuff. I don't think was it as popular? I don't know. So the media, how did it influence Ella? It gave her the opportunity to spread her wings more, and balance things a bit more. There's the King of Wands again. So in hindsight, what acknowledgement she did have with the media, whether that's like with the book writing and publishing and whatever, it did give her an opportunity, where she could spread her wings a little bit more there. So okay, so it didn't, I suppose it's a bit different. I mean, now it's like the media, like newspapers, could be so cruel, whereas I don't think it probably was, but who knows, isn't it, for a thing? But I think it did her a favour, basically. I think it did her a favour. So the influences was very supportive. Okay. So her friends, who she associated herself with, company and stuff, how it influenced her. It inspired, right? She enjoyed those rest periods, those rest times. Look, see, she enjoyed. God, can't make this stuff up, can you? So Ace of Wands is like that inspiration, isn't it? It's like that light bulb effect. So I feel she enjoyed the company of others. The Four says it was her time, my time to rest, my time to take time out and enjoy those moments. And I see her sat, it could be my imagination, but I'm going to go with it. Hell, why not? It's all part of the fun of doing tarot, innit? So I can see her sitting in the sun, with her cup of tea, like the olden days, you had a cup of tea, long dresses and that, and just having that social, lovely time. But it was just more rested. I see meadows around her, grass, like flowers and stuff like that. So I feel very, once I connected to somebody, once I sort of like, when I'm socializing, that is my focus. That is my time of rest, my time of enjoyment. And those moments did inspire me to do more. Those moments made, give me some food for thought, basically, So great conversations she felt she had around her friends and stuff. Okay. Male or female, although I do feel she was pulled more to male, but I think she did enjoy female company by the looks of it too. Okay. Family. So the influences around family. Hanged Man. I think they helped Ella see things in a different perspective. Also to be able to reserve judgment. So they taught her. I tell you what, I could have done. We could have do with that. Being taught those things. I think they helped with her managing her emotions and stuff. I feel like they were a good asset to, look, the Knight of Pentacles again has come in. It was, they, she had a good family upbringing, I feel, and they was able to help Ella look at different things in a different perspective and to slow down and not to make quick judgment, not to sort of rush into things. So yeah, there was a lot of encouragement of that look. And Ten of Cups is like, she had a good family upbringing, so I feel like her family, I mean, you can see that when I watched a video of a lady, which I put in the description box, that she was greatly supported by her family. But I don't have to, I can't make it up, because the Ten of Cups is like of strong connections of families. Like, so I feel like Ella's upbringing was very balanced, very, and although I see like the father took the role like as a business thing, I think her mother, although there's not a feminine card there, I feel her mother was able to slow her thought process down, and maybe that's why the poetry came so strong, because you are in a more of a thought process and just letting things flow. So it did help. Her upbringing really helped how she sort of influenced her way of living and how she created and stuff as well. So we're going to touch on her love life. Now, she did marry. That unfortunately, she did fall pregnant, but she lost. So, or the baby died. I can't actually remember. I'm so hopeless with. I'm not one of those YouTubers that knows it all, because got that memory thing. But there was a loss there, unfortunately, which is not nice to go through. But let's have a look at her and her husband. And I did do the crystal dowsing on different decks, and she was all up for it. I felt or they were all up for it, or spirit was all up for it, well, however you want to interpret it. But her connection with her partner, her husband, okay, so her connection, there was conflict at the beginning, but sort of eventually things started to change and turn, and it came all around, and they started to see eye to eye. So I feel like at first the Five of Swords, there's the conflict. So there was a bit of conflict with that there. But it would make sense in the sense of like, she wasn't your normal average lady, she had that independent outlook, but something did grow here with the Knight of Cups, and here they started to be coming together and working together. But like any kind of relationship, it takes its time. I do feel like intuitively there was a connection. I don't see that as a deception. I feel like that's like they were more in tune together than what they first thought, or what wasn't practical at the start. There you are. There's the balance card. So it was more secure, and love did grow. Did grow eventually, as time went on. Yeah, let's see. So I see that as it started faltered. So I think once they started to getting to know one another and understanding one another, I think the barriers and the walls came down more so, and it come more into a more secure, happier thing. So I feel like the relationship was a very strong. I know that they were together for 30 years, but that didn't mean anything, there is. That doesn't necessarily mean anything there. We're going to go on to their shadow side of love, because I have permission to do this. So I'm going to just check it out. The shadow side of them. So, because that came with the 5 of Swords. Oh dear. So their arguments could be quite, I feel like, would be bickery. Someone has to be the adult in the room. Maybe the term should be grown up or get out. So I feel like they bickered. They did have a bickering time, and there might have been a bit of childish behaviours on both accounts, might I add, right? Okay. That come because of insecurity. That was coming and being into insecurity. So, that's why it came. So how did they get through that, bypass that phrase? Well, maybe that was always there, 7 of Wands. I think it was something in their nature. I think it was something in their nature. So I think it sort of lightened up as time went on, but 7 of Wands, I mean, that's like the defense. So I think tempers arose quite quickly. I'm hearing more so on her side. I don't know. Yeah, more so on her side. Came a bit destructive. Okay. So how did they get over that? Oh, Ella, you were quite stubborn. You were quite stubborn. I think her husband sort of negotiated with her. Husband's. I'll give her space. I'll give her space. Give her time to think about things. Yeah. But I think that was I remember our nan, she would fire up, and our granddad used to wind it up, and he used to wink at us as a say watch, and then he'll just be giggling to himself. She would, because she was an Irish lady, she would just go, go off on one, and he'd just be like sniggering, so not very nice really. But yeah, so it's like the humour. I suppose it's just the humour of things. We're humans, aren't we? Relationships ain't perfect, is it? Come on. Let's be real. Let's have the reality. It's not going to be all fairy tales and, so they had a strong connection anyway. There was a strong connection, but they did have their arguments with the 5 of Pentacles. They did have their arguments. I do wonder if the husband caved in more so than she did. I think once she had her head on something, especially with the Queen of Wands, they're quite fiery, aren't they? Once she had her head on something, that was it. That's my belief, but it's not, doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It's just what I'm picking up from the cards is what's been thrown out. Okay, so we've looked at this section, so I'm going to tidy it up and and then go into the the demons. Now, when I say demons, it'd be like your fears, what holds you back, what can sort of consume you, you know, how our mind works, you know, and how it can interfere with our changes and stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to look into that next. So if you're with me, so thank you. Thank you for sticking around. You know, clear my throat a bit. Also, could you give it a like? You know, let me know your thoughts so far, what you think, and how you interpret it, and what do you see in the cards, and what is it that you know? Do you know? Am I hitting some things, or not? Let us know. So we're going to look into section 3, which is the demons. So their fears. Now, again, I did ask, I put a crystal to ask. So I've got the dark mirror. So what was their fears? I think I'm going to pull this card up first. What was their fears? And then we'll pull some cards on that one. So what's their fears? Artificial heart. Okay. I'm going to look in the book with this, but let's pull some cards with that as well. I think their fears was like that maybe there was times they were afraid that they would become cold. So although I've been given quite a positive reading, I feel that there, you know, knowing the history of it, she had some really upsetting times that really took a toll on her, and it challenged her heart a little bit more. So I do wonder if she was worried that she'll come a bit more complacent, because she was very in tune with the male side of her, I would say. Although she did have that femininity side. I think she was worried that she sometimes could come across cold or disheartened, or, you know, but let's have a look what the cards say. She did worry about things around emotions, I would say, and I would say that created a lot of fear and anguish and anxiety here. We've got the King of Cups here. So sometimes I think she struggled with her emotions, although you wouldn't think that with the readings, you know, like her poems that she did do. It's coming across that maybe she took too many risks sometimes of letting people in. So I feel like there was some challenges around the emotional side of her. I've only seen a few of her poetry aspects. But if you think of the poem that I read to you earlier, smile and the world will smile at you, cry and there's no one around. I think she struggled with showing that vulnerability side thing. But let's have a look at the dark mirror. Yeah, bless her. Oh, how weird is that? I opened it straight up to 12. Right. That is 12, isn't it? No, it's not. It's 32. Oh my God. I think I need to go to the optician, guys, because I can't see stuff. 10. Well, that didn't make sense then. Artificial love, right, okay. If I don't feel the warmth of the sun, will I blame the sun or myself? A female figure, an android or a robot with cyber lines travel over the skin. That's just explaining what the visual. Building oneself to specifics, stealing oneself to adversity, dreaming of electrical sheep. Once upon a time, it was a time of flying monkeys. Someone journey, it gets the job done. It's not a job of feeling. It's scripted like a job of numbers. Maybe she was just worried about her mind being closed off too much. You are. It's because there's nothing that alone or can grant happiness and guarantee it. We trade the nature world for artificial, and then we blame the choice as the reason that our sky has no colour. What if not actually connected? What is it, just an excuse? What is it what if even an artificial heart could beat and fall in love and drown in sorrow? And she did write a lot of bits and pieces like that. So I would say her fear was having an empty heart, not having enough, not enough love to go round, but having an empty heart, having where she loses that curious kitten, that curious puppy, that curious, through the stress and tributes of stuff. And with the King of Cups there. Now I don't, so what does the King of Cups represent? What does the King of Cups represent here? It's almost like she's gone through something. She's gone through, and it kind of like took a toll on, I wonder if it's to do with her husband's passing. The cycle of changes around her husband. That like affected her. I mean, did she meet someone else, or did, after her husband? I don't know. Maybe it was like the loss that she felt around her heart. So when this person passed, it almost took a piece of her. This is like sleepless nights. Sorry. This is like sleepless nights. Is not able to sleep, not able to when you get like insomnia and stuff like that. So she was unable, she struggled with sleeping alone. So her heart chakra, I wonder if her heart chakra became blocked. And she was worried that she wouldn't be able to, not so much love again, but be able to feel like how she once was. And I think that was the fear. I feel like this is later on in life, guys. What do you think? I feel like this is later on. Okay, so what held her back in this situation? I see that as emotions held her back. 10 of Wands, yeah. Things got a bit too much. The tables turned. So that happiness that she once felt once before is now gone. And it left with confusion. And it's like her life cycle changed again. So there was like moments of like strong happiness within her. And life in it, and the cycle of life we know that, I mean, we know eventually one of us is going to be alone. We know that, um, you know, we leave people behind. I feel like with her husband's, I do feel this is related to talking about her husband and how she was afraid of that disconnect that she would feel. And the hope that hear from them. Now I know they made a promise to each other, but that call didn't come in. And I think she questioned that. I think what happened then, her friends did step in to give her a moment of peace. But I feel she didn't feel fall again, if that makes sense. So it came back around. I feel things came back around, but there was a period or time, and I don't feel it never felt the same again. So I feel she did eventually rely on her friends more. So it was the waiting. She was waiting and hoping that, and it didn't come around. But eventually, as time went on, she never forgot about it. It was always in the back of her mind. But I feel she was able to find some peace and able to do a little bit more, have more experiences, and she started connecting more with her friends. But I think there was a period in time in her life where she did feel she lost herself a little bit, which is quite common, when we go through some dramatic things. Fear can get in the way, and it can really isolate them. I mean, I did ask one of the questions is what darkened them, but I think I've already touched on that, so I don't think I can do any more than that with this section. So the next section we're going to go into is section 4, which is it's her soul. It's her, like, what thrived her into the writing, the creativity. Now I know, like, she was encouraged by her family, and I get that it's all documented there, but I want to see what the cards have got to say with it. So I'll be back. He's back, and welcome back. You won't see that I've gone, but oh God. I was thinking then that my cough is not not so bad, and it still comes back. Right, okay. So the next part is section 4, is their soul. Their soul. Tell me about Anna's soul. Justice. Oddly, I feel like she's been on this earth plane before. I feel there was a life purpose that she needed to create in that lifetime, and I feel she touched on it. There was a bit of a touchment on there. Okay. Tell me more about the 6 of Wands. She was here to inspire um, others, to bring light into the darkness. I feel. Tell me more about the Page of Cups. So she had a purpose in life that she touched on it. She also let me just move this so you can see it. So she also in touched. We got the Eight of Cups with stuff that loss as well. So I feel like Ella, she in this lifetime she brought an element of balance of sadness in her poetry as well as happiness, um, and it's interesting because we've got the Justice card as the balanced type thing. So I feel she did have a purpose in this generation, in that generation, to bring those. So we might as well put that in the middle. We might as well put that in the middle of it, because it's the balance, isn't it, of like the shadow side of us and the true, the challenges that we face and where we got to walk away from stuff, and then we've got like the happy, inspirational, happy times as well. We need both because that's what life, because life does throw curveballs. Life does have its challenges, as well as it has those elements of curiosity, happy, good times too. And I feel like, her soul was balancing both of those out to others, So people could relate to her poetry. They could connect with it, whatever stage they were at in their life. They felt the connection there. So what drawn them into writing? Now we know that there was a family background, so I think her brothers and sisters, or her siblings, should I say, did have, there was writing experiences there, but let's see what the cards have got to say. So we'll put these up a minute. Not in the spider. Well, the Hermit card is about tuning in to your inner being, your higher, your higher. So I think what inspired her to do the writing in that was she was channeling in to understand her emotions or her expressions and who she was at the time when she wrote the poem, so I feel she felt it was a chance for her to be able to express things that maybe she couldn't do. It was like a connection to her. So as writers and singers, or you is a connection of deeper knowing, knowing. So that kind of like that, I think that's what drawn her to writing and inspired her to write, on a personal level by that of influences. Yeah. Knight of Swords is she felt compelled to, when she sort of like had something in her mind, she felt quite compelled to go for it, to do it. This is about action, pushing, so it was almost like she felt really drawn and pulled to do the writing. It's a bit like channeling, isn't it? When we do the channeling, or I feel pulled to do certain spreads and that. It's the same thing. You can't ignore it. It's something that needs to be done. It gave her a sense of stability as well. It gave her a sense of stability. It gave her a sense of security. Not so much outwardly, inwardly, because we've got the Hermit card here. So it wouldn't necessarily, obviously it was a purpose because we've already touched on that, but I feel like it was an inner calling to her as well. She felt compelled to do this, yeah. So passions they wanted to create. Passions they wanted to create. So we're going to do what I did with Amy. So in the beginning, her passions. So when she first started out, right, the Devil card. I think she was interesting. We got the Hermit card as well. She wasn't afraid to look at the dark side of life. She wasn't afraid to, she was curious to know that side, how things worked. Why do I feel this way? Why am I feeling this way? So I feel like that's what got her into the writing. She was figuring things out with her emotions and just general stuff, you know. So she was a why person at the very beginning. In mid aspect of her journey, she wanted to explore. I think she wanted to have more fun with it. So it was know myself, which would be the teenager year, wouldn't it? Here would be like I'm in my adult phase, but I want to explore. I'm curious. I'm curiosity, very curious about things. There. And I feel she wanted to bring that message to others as well. Probably take the load off. Put your feet up, take the load off. Get people thinking. Maybe inspire them in some way, you know. And then in her later years, straight away when I pulled that card is like courage. I wanted to bring courage, the maturity side of it all. So I feel Ella, Lily said Lily though, Ella, I feel Ella went through some kind of transformations in her writing. So if anyone's watching this, please let me know if I can. And her development on it, she kind of wanted to create more of a maturity aspect to her reading, you know, her poetry near the end. Mid-ground, I think she was being playful, testing the waters a little bit. This one, she was trying to understand things. I feel like it was more about understanding things. But as time went on, yeah, wanted to give more wisdom to people and maybe let them know that they're not alone on things as well, all depending on what poetry she was writing, you know. So the message they were trying to get across, I don't know why it's going upside down because I've got the whole deck upside down. She really wanted to get you to think about things. She really wanted you to think for yourself. Take on board things. She wanted you to understand life in a more of a practical life. She wanted getting conversations going, opening up. She wanted to bring that open message to you. Yeah, look. She wanted to bring the love in. She wanted to bring the communication, the love experience in her readings. The truth, the reality of life and life itself. And still be able to express it with love. Even when we're going through pain and stillness. It's a matter of fact, is what I'm getting in my mind's eye. It's a matter of a fact. It's a matter of fact. She wanted to inspire people. And bring away the illusions of things. Don't get me wrong, I think she liked to romanticize things because it said it in the beginning, but she wanted to touch the truth of the matter and the honesty, bringing things together with the 9 of Cups. That's how I feel. What message she was trying to bring here. Interesting. We touched on her soul group. So what can we learn from her poetry? I mean, I think I've touched on that anyway, but any last words from, this reading, Ella, Spirit, whoever's like connecting these cards today? Any last words? And, what can we learn from the experience of it? Queen of Wands, the Star. Oh, that's so sweet. Right. Let me moving on up. Take the courage and the action to spread your wings and build a community together, a community of understanding, a community of memories. I think the whole point of the message is that we're not on our own when we're going through this. Other people feel the same way as we do, like my podcast and that. When I'm talking to different people, like, that healers and, experiencing spiritual connections and, spirit, whatever it is that they do, it has a similar background. And I feel like this is what those emotions what makes us human is what she's trying to say. This is what makes us human. We're not alone because people feel these things, and I think that's where she wanted to express that message in the thing. Rather than separating ourselves, we come together with that, where we can make those memories. We don't have to build walls up. Don't have to sort of having to keep defending ourselves on who we are. We can sort of take action in our relationships and have an understanding. It's human nature. human nature. We got the seven of swords again. There's cruelty in the world. There is death. But there's also a rebuild. Whatever we go through in life, we can rebuild it. We can reshape it. We're not trapped in society, okay? There's always a chance to start again. I think I'm going to leave that and I'm going to give you a poem. The second poem that was one of my favourites that I hope I didn't cough through this. So if you stick around, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe and check the description. I've put more about her life and stuff in there, like links basically. I put links in there. So this is my fit. There are two kinds of people on earth today, just two kinds of people, no more I say. Not the sinner and the saint, for it's well understood. The good are half bad and the bad are half good. Not the rich and the poor, for to rate man's wealth, you must first know the state of his conscience and health. Not the humble and the proud, for in life's little span, who put on vain and airs is not counted a man. Not the happy and the sad, for the swift flying years bring in each man his laughter and each man his tears. No, the two kinds of people on earth I mean are the people who lift and the people who lean. Oh my God, that's so weird. Whenever you go, you will find the earth masses are always divided in just these two classes. And oddly enough, you will find too, I ween, there's only one lifter to 20 who lean. In which class are you? Are you easing the load of overtaxed lifters who toll down the road? Or are you a leaner who let others share your portion of labour and worry and care? Oh my God, that is, what was I just saying? Oh my God, that's just so weird. So weird. That kind of connected to that poem. And I swear to you, I absolutely swear to you, that wasn't set up. That wasn't set up. I picked the poems. I have got terrible memory problems, you know. Don't help because I'm in my 50s as well, middle-aged. But I've always had these problems of like things sinking in. But that's kind of like saying here. So I'm going to leave you with this to process. I hope you enjoyed the reading just as much as I have done. And yeah, I will send so much love to you. And, you know, and Ella, you know, which I'd never heard of up until I started doing research on this chap. Interesting. Right, I'll leave you to it. Have a great day and I'll see you soon. Love you lots.